All right, we'll record from you.
Okay, thank you, Baji. And actually, in my case, I was thinking about writing generally. And, my sister has been writing throughout her life. I always put it off. I said to myself, one of these days I'll do some writing. And I only started thinking about writing after I retired. And actually, even after I retired for a while, I thought there'd be lots of time to do this. So I was writing. I started writing odds and ends, and also making connections with people from the past. And interestingly enough, a lot of my writing basically went back to my roots, went back to my childhood, went back to things I did and experienced in what was then East Pakistan. And around the same time, I was a member of a Facebook group, Memories of Former East Pakistan. And Ghazala Akbar happened to be on it. And Ghazala, of course, sister of a number of very prominent Prometheans. And she suggested that I write things about the Prometheans. And that was very interesting because I made connections with a lot of, people who had been involved in the Prometheans, either as supporters or even participants. And we gathered a lot of information from them, and wouldn't have been able to write the book without some of the information we managed to get from individuals. So that was an interesting experience, but it was sort of coincidental that both of us thought about writing this book at the same time. And it was quite a wonderful experience to be able to fill in all the gaps. Bajid mentioned the fact that people didn't know very much about the Prometheans, but we'd also forgotten a lot. People who'd acted with us and so forth. And a lot of that emerged over the course of our writing this book. Now, because my sister is in Bangladesh, it was easier for her to do a lot of the research that was necessary to write about the amateurs and about the thespians. And perhaps she can tell us a little bit about how she managed to get all the information she did about the group called the Amateurs. And here is a little slide which shows a scene from one of their plays. Baji, could you tell us a little bit about the Amateurs, their contribution?
Plays were being produced sporadically by students of Dhaka University. And there were also radio plays in English that were produced quite regularly on the Dhaka station of Radio Pakistan. These English radio plays were quite popular, and the popularity of these plays encouraged Professor Mateen to form a group of actors, of amateurs, to stage English drama. And there was already a theatre group which was staging Bangla plays, but Professor Mateen wanted to do something with English plays. So from beginning in 1958, he got a group of young men, university students, to act in plays by the group called the Amateurs. Though women had occasionally acted on stage, I remember seeing a production of The Merchant of Venice at the Curzon Hall, where women were acting. The Amateurs were unable to get, East Pakistani women to act in their plays. So they were fortunate enough to link up with some expatriates who worked in the American Embassy, who were quite happy to act with them. So they put together a number of plays, and you have the list there. Julius Caesar, in which Professor Mateen also acted the part of Caesar, as well as 3 short plays, The Poetasters of Ispahan, The Monkey's Paw, The Bishop's Candlesticks. A very memorable production of the amateurs was Of Mice and Men. Another very memorable one was Arsenic and Old Lace. But apart from these, they also did other plays. Unfortunately, most of the amateurs have passed away, and some of them are out of the country. So I was unable to get anyone to join our meeting today. Interestingly enough, Mahmoodul Amin put on, he acted with the amateurs, but later on, he also joined the Prometheans. So he was a link between the amateurs and the Prometheans. A lot of the information about the amateurs I got from Anisuzzaman Khan. I got some from Riaz Rahman, as well as some from Farooq Subhan. So I express my gratitude to them for filling me in on the activities of the amateurs. And I'd like to express my thanks here to Anisuzzaman Khan for the pictures which you are seeing today.
Baji, do you have any comments on any of the other actors that you see in this?
Well, we have Ms. Shamsul Bari. Unfortunately, in the picture on the left, this gentleman could not be identified. Next to him is Mahmoodul Amin Puton. Beside him is Shamsul Bari. Next to him is Riaz Rahman. Pat Stadler, Mizanur Rahman, who has also passed away, and Joan Redmond. The lady next to Joan Redmond is unfortunately unidentified. And Jalal Al-Karimi, a very handsome man, made up to look like Frankenstein's monster. Junaid Iqbal, Anisuzzaman Khan, and Yusuf Chaudhry.
Is that our Yusuf? I'm just wondering. I can't see it right now, but it's covered by.
Yes, it's our Yusuf Chaudhry.
Really?
Yes,
yeah,
but
he's around though, right?
Is that
yes,
Babs?
he's around, but
Yes,
I don't have any connection with him. He's
in the US
He's in the US.
Washington.
Yeah, he's
Baltimore area, I think.
Abu Zafar is frequently in touch with them, right?
Yeah.
Abu Zafar. Why don't you contact him then, Abu Zafar?
Sorry, I muted Abu Zafar. Hang on, sorry about that. I was okay. Unmute yourself. I'm doing a little, tech stuff here.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've been in occasional touch with him. I saw him 2 years ago in Washington when Tariq Karim was visiting.
Right.
And I went to see him, and Yusuf came along too to see me and Tariq. So we spent a couple of hours there. And then since then, occasionally, I've been in touch. He's also in touch with my sister in Dhaka occasionally, Farida. Yeah.
Okay.
So on Facebook, email. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, send him an email and with the link to this
Okay.
event.
Well, we could do that. Yeah. Or I could even do that. I could add him. I think I have his email address. Yeah. I think
Invite him.
Okay. One other thing, Baji, I perhaps with not necessarily to identify anybody, I only think we should mention Bhutan, Jalal, and Mizan. We could mention Yusuf Chaudhry as well. I don't know. But let's see. The reason why I thought we should mention Jalal and Mizan is that they're also a kind of link, right? Because Jalal's wife acted with us.
Well, that is true, yes.
Yeah, that was the only reason. Otherwise, people can kind of see the other individuals. Okay, just a thought. And so I will then ask Baji to talk a little bit about the thespians, and I will move to a different slide. And then, of course, so I will say, you know, that yes, Baji, you were actually closely involved with the Thespians and acted in several of their plays. So could you tell us a little bit about the Thespians and your involvement with that particular group?
Yes, I was at Holy Cross for 4 years, from 1957 to 1961, mid-1957 to mid-1961. And during that time, I acted in 4 plays. The Thespians just means actors, you know, in Greek. And of course, it was an all girls college. So the girls had to take the part of men, and girls who were tall played the part of men, and girls who were tinier played the part of women. The Thespians, the first director of the Thespians was Sister Carmen. She was followed by Sister Francilia. Sister Francilia directed Twelfth Night. I was Toby Belch, the drunk uncle of Olivia. And there was Shirin Akbar, who was a fabulous Malvolio. And the reason, of course, she got the part was Malvolio has always gone to the best actor in the group. So Malvolio was Shirin Akbar. And it was directed, as I said, by Sister Francilia. The next year, Sister Joseph Mary took over. And we don't have a picture here, but she did The Taming of the Shrew. And I acted the part of Petruchio. The third year, Sister decided to do a Greek play, Antigone. Antigone is considered to be the best of Sophocles' plays. And while we were doing the play, of course, we learned a lot about Greek drama, the Greek theater, how men acted the part of women, and we were doing the reverse. We were women acting the part of men. The last year I was at Holy Cross, Sister decided to do the most difficult play by Shakespeare, King Lear. I suppose she thought that she would never again get a person who could play the part of King Lear, act the part of King Lear. So she did this play. It is a difficult play also because it has got a vast cast. You know, there are battle scenes, and Sister was very particular about using, you know, even though the armies were on the stage for such a short time, each army had its own standards. It was a difficult play, and I don't mind telling you that after playing the part of King Lear, I was quite ill for quite some time. But there were also these funny moments, in fact, not actually funny moments, but funny moments that happened accidentally. For example, our makeup was most primitive, and I had powder in my hair. Unfortunately, there was a scene where I clutched my hair and ran around madly across the stage. As I said, unfortunately, when I smacked my head, all the powder rose up, and instead of, you know, horrifying the audience at my madness, I made them laugh inadvertently. It was quite embarrassing, to say the least. The Thespians continued, and after I left, there were other plays that were performed, very good plays. For example, The Merchant of Venice.
Okay. Sorry, Baji. Are you not going to do a reading from Lear?
Oh, you want me to do a reading?
Well, I think you should do it at this
Oh,
point.
okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Whatever you.
So Reza, why don't you invite her to do the reading?
Oh, sorry.
No, I
you
mean,
did. Okay.
it's on the agenda.
Give her the cue.
It's
I
on the
think
agenda.
I redeemed, all right. Thank you for reminding me. But I think I did redeem myself, because at the end of the play, King Lear, broken, ill, comes in carrying the body of his daughter Cordelia. And you can see Cordelia, she was tall, Zebul Sahak was tall, but fortunately she was light. And I did enter the scene with Cordelia in my arms.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the audience gave a gasp when they saw this old
Don't
man
laugh.
carrying in the body of Cordelia. So I'd like to read the last speech of King Lear's. I had actually combined a number of speeches to give you a sense of what King Lear says after he puts down the body of Cordelia. Howl, howl, howl. Oh, you are men of stones. Had I your tongues and eyes, I'd use them so that heaven's vault should crack. She's gone forever. I know when one is dead and when one lives. She's dead as earth. Lend me a looking glass, if that her breath will mist or stain the stone. Why then she lives. The feather stirs, she lives. If it be so, it is a chance which does redeem all sorrows that ever I have felt. A plague upon you murderers, traitors all. I might have saved her, now she's gone forever. Cordelia, Cordelia, stay a little. What is it thou sayest? Her voice was ever soft, gentle and low, an excellent thing in woman. I killed the slave that was a hanging deed, and my poor fool desired no life. Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? Thou'lt come no more, never, 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 never. Pray you, undo this button. Thank you, sir. Do you see this? Look on her, look, her lips, look there. Look there.
Baji, that was excellent. Yes. So apart from King Lear, was that your last play at?
Yes, that was my last play at Holy Cross.
And then, but after you left, there were other. Actually, you were there as a teacher. So while you were there as a teacher,
Yes.
the number of productive plays. So we have a few slides from those other shows, and you might have a few comments on some of those other plays.
It's still on King Lear. Yes. The Merchant of Venice, it was a fabulous production. And Ismat Shirazi played the part of Nerissa, and she would later join the Prometheans. Portia was Ruby Amin, Puton's sister. And there were other actors, and Nighat Bhatwi played the part of Old Bobo. Shahana Rab played the part of her son. There was also Atiya Qasim, who did a fantastic job as Shylock. You can see Atiya was not very tall, but somehow in the role of Shylock, she was able to dominate the stage. And of course, we all know that the play ends happily with the the little confusion about the rings. And there is Bassanio in the person of Afrin Haq pleading with Portia that he did not give the ring to a woman, though we all know that he did give it to a woman, which happened to be Portia herself. The Thespians went on to produce another Shakespearean play, but also to produce what was, I think, one of their masterpieces, another Greek play with Ghazala in the role of Electra. Because the chorus was large, and Sister was able to give most of the girls a chance to be in the chorus. Ghazala was only 16 years old, but she performed the part of Electra very beautifully, very powerfully. In fact, Raza, I think, was teaching there at the time, and he was in the audience. And I'd just like to read this bit from Curtain Call. One of the most memorable scenes of the play was that of Electra mourning the supposed death of Orestes with the urn containing his ashes. It was difficult to believe that Ghazala was only 16 years old. Raza, who was in the audience, was moved at his sister's acting. He remarked to Sister Joseph Mary that he realized for the first time that his little sister had grown up. This was, I think, one of the last English plays that the Thespians did, because from 1972, Holy Cross became a Bangla medium school and college, and the plays that were performed started being in Bangla.
Thank you, Baji. We now will talk a little bit about Prometheans, and actually this particular play that I'm going to talk about initially, Memory of Two Mondays, was not done under the name of Prometheans. It was actually done under the name of the Students' Drama Society, which was a group formed essentially by people at Dhaka University. The president of the group was Dr. Sajjad Yusuf, and the vice president was Ijaz Rasul Tajwar, who was actually quite active in setting things going here. And so was the General Secretary, Shah Alam Chaudhry. On the Executive Council, there were people who would then go on to become active as members of the Prometheans, including my sister, who was then Niaz Ali. Shama Sheikh was there. Of course, Farida Majid, though Farida Majid, for a number of reasons, did not continue. My brother-in-law, Siddiqui Zaman, was a member. And you will also see the name of Shama Sheikh. M.A. Qayyum, who was popularly known as Lincoln, was also a member of the executive. And he acted with us or he was actually involved with the Memory of Two Mondays, not beyond that. So here is actually, this is, jumped the gun here a little bit. Sorry. Good thing we're doing this, right? Okay, right.
Nice.
And I've got to go another previous. I should. Okay, well, I won't. If I do this, I'll just carry on. Because it's just a rehearsal, I will go back to the cast, right? So I'll just mention that the people who were in the play included my sister, who was Agnes, Imtiaz Hussain, who played a very important role of Gus. And I played a different role, because I was sort of the outsider in this group. Basically, the play is set in a warehouse. It's an automotive parts warehouse somewhere in New York, and it's probably autobiographical. And Bert is basically the character, an autobiographical character, because Arthur Miller probably had similar experiences. Now, there were quite a few wonderful performers in this play, and also, of course, we owe a lot to the USIS, which is where we staged it. We had a lot of help from people there, including Mr. and Mrs. Volk. How do you pronounce it? Volk. Okay, Baji, you would know. Do you know how it's pronounced? Yeah.
It's just evoke.
Sorry?
I think just evoke.
Oh, okay. Nicholas
Yeah,
involved.
Volkswagen.
But the play was directed by Professor Mateen. And this is a scene from the play. And you can see a number of people here. Baji is on the extreme, my sister Niaz is on the extreme left. Next to her is Shamim Zaman, who is also no longer with us. Tobi Obaidullah, and then Sirajul Majid Mamoon, who played the character Jim. And this was his last play. He didn't act with us beyond this. I think his parents thought he should focus on his studies. He went on to become quite well known as a radio personality with a wonderful voice. I'm in the plaid shirt, and next to me is my brother-in-law, Sadiq Usman, who also, of course, is no longer with us. Here's another scene from the play, A Memory of Two Mondays. And we have a scene here in the warehouse where mice suddenly appeared. And of course, Imtiaz is a bit distraught here, and Shamim, as his role, I think his character was Frank. You can check that. And also, you see my brother-in-law, Sadiq Usman, and Farida Majid has jumped onto the counter. I would like to read a few things, a few comments about Farida from different chapters in our book. So here is one little excerpt. In choosing plays during those early years, an important consideration was the number of females in the cast. At the time, there were not more than a few young ladies whose families would countenance their hobnobbing with strange young men on the stage. We happened to have two young ladies whose families were enlightened enough, etc., etc., etc. So I will just, so I'll read all that. I won't read it all right now. And I will end with this, just one paragraph. Farida was Patricia, who is in her 20s, a flirtatious and somewhat giddy young lady. Patricia is no doubt intended to provide some comic relief, and she spends much of her time fixing her clothing and going to the one bathroom on the premises. In one memorable scene, she has to get up on the furniture to avoid mice that suddenly appear on the scene. Now, an excerpt from another chapter about Farida. Farida Majid came from a family with a strong literary and cultural background, and they were more liberal in their thinking than most. Farida's sister Fahmida, whose familiar name was Monju, was an accomplished dancer. Farida herself was a free spirit who went on to distinguish herself as a scholar and poet. Her family was one of the few who welcomed male friends and their daughters into their home. Admirers of Farida and Fahmida included several members of Around that time that the Prometheans produced A Memory of Two Mondays, Farida also caught the attention of a young American by the name of Robert Bowie. Bob had recently received his Bachelor of Architecture degree from Pratt University in Brooklyn, New York. He went on to become an award-winning architect with an international reputation. Some of his accomplishments include work he did in Dhaka in the 1960s, notably his involvement in the design of the Kamalapur railway station. It was not long after Farida and Bob met that they fell in love. In December 1962, they were married. So that meant that in our group, we had two female actors and we lost one of them. So we're down to one. And that, of course, meant that we had to look for a play with only one female character in it. And we were very fortunate to find the perfect play. That was The Rainmaker, which was actually the first production of Prometheans. The cast included Yaz, John Amin, myself, my sister, and we were a family, the Curry family. My brother-in-law to be, he was not my brother-in-law at the time, Sadiq Zaman is also there. But the main character in the play is played by none other than Toby Ubaidullah. That's a big Toby as rainmaker. So I have a couple of little readings. So on Frida, I had basically 3 paragraphs. On the rainmaker, I have a little bit more, okay? I have something about the rainmaker generally that I'd like to read. And of course, this is just for purpose. And then I will read something about Job. But I think it's important to mention why the rainmaker was such an appropriate choice. So again, I won't read all of it, all of what I'm going to read, but just to give you an idea. The choice of the rainmaker as the inaugural play was a serendipitous one for the Prometheans. First of all, it met the important criterion that there be only one female actor in the cast. The role of Lizzie was perfect for Niaz, who was the only female in the Prometheans. But in fact, all the key roles seem to have been written for the specific members of the group. It was also appropriate to choose an American play because once again, we were supported in our endeavors by USIS, which provided the venue for the production. Professor Abdul Mateen agreed to direct the play, staged from December 21st to 23rd, 1960. Okay, I might not read this part depending on the timing, but this is also kind of interesting. One might ask what relevance a play set in the American Midwest might have for Bengali audiences. But the yearning for cooling and healing rain during the dry season, when the earth swelters under the burning sun, is something that people living in Bengal would understand well. They would also understand the yearning in a woman's heart and appreciate the metaphorical connection between physical and spiritual drought. The connection coincidentally central to a prize-winning story entitled The Dance that Niaz wrote sometime after. This is also quite good, but I might skip it depending on the timing. Bengali audiences would also understand the concern a family might have that a girl may never get married. And they would appreciate the lengths that the family members might go to in order to find her a husband. When the play opens, we find that Lizzie Curry had just come back from visiting relatives, an expedition that it was hoped would lead to a suitable match. Unfortunately, the trip ends in failure and humiliation for Lizzie. Another desperate plan is hatched by her family. They decide to invite Deputy Sheriff File to dinner. I think I'll skip. I won't say, I just stop with Bengali audiences would also understand the concern a family might have that a girl may never get married. And they would appreciate the lengths the family members might go to in order to find her a husband. I'll stop there. Is that okay?
Just fine with that.
Because I was going to read the part that also mentions Atiq and Siddiq Bhai, but the point is I can kind of mention that when I should. I think it's important for me to read the part about Toby, so I will then say that Toby played the main role, the role of the rainmaker, who went by the name of Bill Starbuck. So the part was played by Haider Saeed Ubaidullah, known as Toby to his family and friends. Toby was ideal for the part of Starbuck, described by Nash as a big man, lithe, angel, a loud braggart, a gentle dreamer. That description provides an important clue to the paradoxical way in which Nash saw the main character of the play. Nash stressed the importance of viewing the play as a romance, and because it is a romance, we do not dismiss Starbuck as simply a liar, fraud. Starbuck appears on the scene, offering to bring rain in return for a payment of $100. While his offer might be seen as preposterous enough, it is the ridiculous and extravagant hyperbole that he spouts that establishes him as a con man, but also makes him a larger-than-life figure, a man of imagination, romance. Wearing a cowboy hat and boots and a red bandana around his neck, Toby cut a fine figure on the stage. He fit the physical description of Starbuck as a big man who was lithe and agile, tall and good-looking. Toby stirred the hearts of many young ladies. In Bengal Rag, a somewhat fictionalized memoir written by Durdana Sumro and Ghazala Hamid, younger sisters, Raza and Niaz, there is this, I can say my younger sisters, there's this description of Toby, renamed Tony. Tony was the current heartthrob of the three girls. He had played the part of Bill Starbuck, the rainmaker with rare panache. Things came easy to him. The girls had seen him playing cricket, being in white flannels. His languid run-up kept them mesmerized. Tall, fair, and handsome, with light-colored hair that was always flicking off his forehead, he was a born entertainer. The stories he told me, each one more amazing than the other, just this side of believable. This description of Toby suggests that it was not simply a matter of his looking the part. He had qualities that made him an appropriate choice to play the role. Charming con man, one who is described as both a loud bragger and a gentle dreamer. So in the play, Liz has to choose between two people. And the man with the great dreams, but many of them post based on lies, and this other very gentle dreamer who had very small dreams. And of course, that's my brother-in-law, Siddiq Zaman, in the role of Deputy Sheriff File, and the other character in this scene is Atikur Rahman, who played the part of the sheriff. And Baji famously made the choice of File in this play, and I don't know if at that point she realized that he was going to be her partner in life. I don't know. Baji
So Baji's on mute. She's on mute. She can't answer.
She's muted herself. She is speechless. All right. Okay, now, so we stop at that point and move on to, let me see,
Actually, we are going to go over time, it's going to be quite long.
Yes, of course.
We'll have to cut down things.
No, that is inevitable. But don't worry. We'll have to keep some of these things short.
Yes.
All right.
So
now, the next thing, of course, the next event that took place was important in the career of the Prometheans was the Shakespeare Canta Centenary in 1964. And both my sister and I were involved in various activities during that time. And I will start out by asking her to tell us a little bit about her involvement.
Yes. I think that at this time you were busy with your honors exam. So you did not take part in the winter stay. Well, the amateurs, the thespians had performed on the British Council stage. And with the coming of David Bradley as assistant director, we benefited, Prometheans benefited by having him do a play reading of Othello with us. This was before, not quarter, as I have to correct it, it is scatter.
I wrote quarters in. Okay. It is scatter.
Scatter. It is
okay.
QUA.
Right, of course.
We did a play reading of Othello, where Raza, Nargis, Mahmoud Al-Amin, and I played parts. But in 1964, David Bradley grew more ambitious. That was Shakespeare's Catter centenary, that is his 400th birth anniversary, and he chose The Winter's Tale. Unfortunately, we do not have any photographs from The Winter's Tale. The Winter's Tale is, in a way, a happy ending to the tragedy of Othello. And Mahmoud Al-Amin played the part of Leontes, the jealous husband. Imtiaz played the part of his friend. And this is one of the plays where there is a distinct break between the two halves of the play and a time lapse, something that Sir Philip Sidney, when he wrote about Elizabethan dramas, criticized. But of course, Philip Sidney was not alive to see Shakespeare's plays. Nevertheless, we have a tragic part of the play, and then we have a romantic, comedic part of the play, which takes place in a different locale, Bohemia. Here, the son of Polixenes happens to come across this beautiful shepherdess, Perdita, falls in love with her as she falls in love with him. Of course, Perdita is the lost daughter of Leontes, and Florizel is the son of Polixenes. When Polixenes learns that his son is interested in a shepherd's daughter, he is furious, forbids his son to meet her, but in the romantic ending, Perdita and Florizel get married, and Hermione, who is believed to have died of shock at her husband's treatment of her and the death of her firstborn son, also comes to life. So the play ends happily. One of the most attractive, interesting characters in the play is the rascal Autolycus, who appears as a peddler, sells trinkets to the shepherds, and also robs them of their purses while they are busy looking at his books. Asghar was a very handsome Florizel, and Perdita was acted by Nilofer Chaudhary, who later on married Manzoor Elahi and became the founder of, became Nilofer Manzoor, and founded one of the top English medium schools of Bangladesh. So I think Asghar will read something from The Winter's Tale.
Okay, so this was a play staged by the Prometheans in 1964. And I will read a few lines from Act 4, Scene 4. So Florizel has fallen in love with Perdita, and it is reciprocal. And in this scene, Florizel is speaking a few words of endearment to her. What you do still betters what is done. When you speak sweet, I'd have you do it ever. When you sing, I'd have you buy and sell so. So give alms, pray so, and for the ordering your affairs, to sing them too. When you do dance, I wish you a wave of the sea, that you might ever do nothing but that. Move still, still so, and own no other function. Each your doing, so singular in each particular, crowns what you are doing in the present deeds, that all your acts are queens.
Thank you, Azhar. Good. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's not worry about it. What we will do is we won't do the tribute to the directors. I think we've got enough for an hour and a half, even really. So yeah, let's mention that we will do another event and we will honor some of our directors in that event. And we can start out with what we were going to end with, because we won't have time for all. We just have to rush through it. I think there's enough here. What do people think? Baji,
Yes, I
Baji
think
is
so.
good. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I've unmuted myself.
Yeah.
Yes, I think, it's better not to do that because let's end with.
Yeah, we'll end
Putan.
with the tribute to Bhutan.
Yes, I think that's fine. That's
He
fine.
can, because
Yes.
no point rushing it, and
Yeah.
we've got
And we have
enough.
mentioned Mr. Joseph Mary and we listed Professor
Yeah, we've
McGee.
suggested everybody.
Yes, yes.
And actually, I'll end with my closing remarks. I'll say that, of course, people that were really important for us were our directors. And we hope that in a future occasion, we will pay tribute to some of our greater detail. And we can mention that will be what we'll do in our next event whenever we organize that. So I just wanted to mention that I didn't know what to put down, but I found some old prints, so these are from 1803, so nobody will complain that they're breaking copyright or something, I would expect. So I took a couple of shots. And that scene, of course, is the scene of Hermione, right? Coming to life. And Florizel and Perdita are in the foreground on the right-hand side. Mention Mirando by name when you mention Autolycus, because
I did mention him. I did mention his name.
No, you mentioned Autolycus, but not Miranda.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just because I think it's important, especially because Shahrukh would be attending.
Okay.
So at least it'll be only reference to him. And okay, then we'll go on. And I will say, yes, I will talk about my involvement in the, of course, I was, as you mentioned, I was in the play reading of Othello, and also I was cast as Macbeth in a play that was to be produced by the Dhaka University, okay? And unfortunately, that never happened because the university was shut down, as there were a lot of political problems going on at the time. The only thing we managed to do was do a play reading of scenes from Shakespeare, and one of the scenes that I did was this one, Macbeth. This is a scene from Act 1, Scene 7. In the Dhaka University production, the part of Lady Macbeth was played by Shireen Haseeb, who was a brilliant Lady Macbeth. And in the play reading, Shama Sheikh played this role. And I will say a little bit about this scene. It's a very interesting scene. It's one of two great scenes in Shakespeare where you see one character working on another and making them change, somehow changing them and making them manipulating. And one scene, of course, is in Othello with Iago and Othello, where he brings Othello to this insane jealousy. And the other scene is this scene in which Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to go ahead with the killing. That's a great scene where he finds all the buttons, the right buttons. He says, "Art thou a man? Art thou afeard? Are you a coward?" And from this time, such I account thine. And then in one special moment, and it's an amazing piece of dialogue, which he says, "I have given suck and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me, but I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and bashed the brains out." Chilling by her. I'm going to read a short soliloquy. It's a very pessimistic one, but remember that this is character Macbeth in despair. Doesn't necessarily reflect Shakespeare's philosophy. But it's one of those great scenes or great speeches which Shakespeare sees the world as a stage. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, the last syllable of recorded time. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty day. Out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, saying nothing. And remember that this is the scene in which Macbeth also finds his wife has died.
Yeah.
That's a very sad moment when he says she
Didn't
should
you
have died.
say that his wife has died before you read the soliloquy?
I could have thought about it, but
Yeah.
I know, because that's actually his line before that is she should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a woman. I could mention it after.
I think it would be good if you read it. Then people who are not,
Yeah.
everyone is not familiar with the play.
Yeah, I know, but it's I thought I'd do this because it's a speech that people will be more familiar with.
No, that's true. But I just thought that you could mention that.
That he says that this soliloquy.
And that his wife is died. Yeah. Okay, then.
All right, then we will. So actually, yeah, we've got lots going on here, but I should then I'll say a little bit about Shakespeare. So Shakespeare in that time period was quite important in different educational institutions. We've seen how important it was with the thespians at Holy Cross, and of course, it was also something that was done at the university, various points. Othello had been done in the past, I believe. But it was also something that some of the English medium high schools did, and certainly there's a record of two Shakespeare plays being done at St. Placid's, Julius Caesar and Hamlet. And Macbeth was actually staged at one of the schools that I attended, which is St. Gregory's. I actually attended both at St. Gregory's, but was not in really that aware of theatrical activities. And Macbeth was done by St. Gregory. Okay, and of course, perhaps Shakespeare is not quite so prominent, that hopefully, Shakespeare might be done in translation. And I had the good fortune of seeing a scene from Hamlet done in Bengali. It's very interesting. Okay, now we would like to talk about our next play that took place, I would think. Do you know the date of Harvey by any chance? Is that also 1964?
Yeah, you got it as December 18 to 20, 1964.
Oh, Harvey.
Yeah, that's what you.
Okay, so that's good. Then that's probably correct. Yeah, that must be in the program, right? Yeah, so that's good. So we end then with 1964.
Oh, okay.
We end with Harvey, and we don't have very much to show. We just have this scene, this slide. Okay, that's all we have. Yeah, so there is a date. There's the date. So that's great then. So obviously this happened after Macbeth and Winter's Tale. So I'll have to do a little bit of talking here. So Baji, you won't have read anything from the book. So you have to think of something you might want to read.
I did read from the book. I read about from what Salim had said. I read from the bit about Electra.
Oh, okay,
I did.
okay.
Yes,
Just
yes,
a little bit.
enough. Yeah.
Is that enough? Okay.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Now you end with.
Then I'll just have to say a little bit about Harvey, and I'll mention the
Yes.
fact that a number of new people were involved in this production, and it was the beginning of a change in personnel, and a number of people were no longer with us. Toby Bedell had gone to Khulna, where he had his job. We also, of course, lost Rida Majid. So for one reason or another, it was important that we replace them and get new actors and actresses. And interestingly enough, there were a lot of females who were now able to participate. And in the play Harvey, we had the first time that members of the Sheikh family and the Shirazi family participated. And also, of course, Shahrukh and Miran part in this Harvey. But the main role was played by Pouton, and Pouton wasn't Harvey. Harvey was actually an imaginary rabbit that was his constant companion. And the part of the main character is Elwood Dow, was played by Pouton, who up to that point had played mean and evil people. But then again, here we see a very
little freeze up on the on your audio.
Pardon? The audio what? Asghar?
Yeah, there's a little freeze up in the audio and video while you're talking. It might be just my connection.
Did anybody else notice that? No, Abu Zafar, you're muted. Unmute.
No, I didn't have any problem.
That's
Okay,
fine
okay.
here. It's fine.
It's just my my internet,
Yeah.
my router.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, could be.
Spend some money and upgrade.
All right.
Well, I did upgrade it, but not upgraded enough like you, maybe.
All right. So I would end then with Pouton's comments. Sorry, not Pouton. Sorry. I would like to read Pouton's comments if he's not with us. How much do I have? Yes, I've got a few paragraphs. So I will read what we wrote about Pouton in our book, Curtain Call. Mahmoud Al-Amin, popularly known as Pouton, began his acting career with small roles in plays produced by the amateurs. He was Messala in Julius Caesar and a policeman in Arsenic and Old Lace. The Prometheans were fortunate to acquire the services of this gifted and versatile actor, and it was in their production of The Rainmaker that Pouton had his first significant role. As the mean older brother, Noah Curry, Pouton gave a performance that truly stood out. There was a malevolent streak in Pouton's Noah that was especially evident in scenes of conflict with his brother Jim. Noah may be seen as something of a villain in the play, and Pouton's performance certainly showed the role of villain would be one he would excel at. In 1964, the catacentenary celebration of Shakespeare's birth, Pouton did get an opportunity to play one of the greatest of stage villains, Iago. This was not a fully staged play, but rather a dramatized play reading of key scenes from Othello. Pouton was in his element as Iago, reveling in his brilliant wit and in the skill with which he manipulates and torments Othello. Not long after, he played the part of the jealous tyrant Leontes in A Winter's Tale, also under David Bradley's direction. According to Pouton, he was cast in the role because David thought his eyes were evil and he looked menacing. While Pouton could very easily have been typecast as a villainous character, He showed the extent of his versatility by taking on the role of the lovable and gentle Elwood P. Dowd in the play Harvey by Mary Chase. Elwood is a friendly soul who loves meeting people and socializing in bars. He hands out his calling card freely and invites complete strangers to dinner or to have a drink with him at one of the many bars that he frequents. When a stranger who is selling magazines calls on the phone, he invites her to a tea and reception that is being hosted by his sister, Vita Louise Simmons, played brilliantly by newcomer Yasmin Sheikh. Vita and her daughter Myrtle May, played by Hoshib Nasir, have a far more serious concern. Elwood has a constant companion, a large rabbit that is only visible to him. Now, of course, in this play, the wrong people are incarcerated, and the supposedly crazy Elwood Dowd is allowed to wander around. I think I would like to end with Bhutan's own comments on this role. My next big role was that of Elwood Dowd in Harvey, written by Mary Chase. This role took a lot of imagination. It was very difficult for me to remember. Harvey was 6 feet tall, and all conversation I had had with him, I had to remind myself to look up at him. For that reason, we had to put chalk marks on the stage wing at 6 feet level for me to focus on when I was with Harvey. When I was at home, or even when I was traveling on a rickshaw, I would practice my lines standing up. The rickshaw puller must have thought I was loony talking to the Almighty, as I was always looking up and mumbling my lines. It was the most challenging role for me, having to converse and joke with an invisible friend on an empty stage. Bhutan actually acted in more plays than anybody else with the Prometheans. That included, and some of them were comic roles, as in Importance of Fairness, as in Come On Jeeves. Anyway, I'll sort of make some comments depending on whether Bhutan is with us or not with us. And I'll say that I would like to end with remembering all our directors. And I will mention the directors, of course, Professor Mati and Sister Joseph Mary and their contributions, but also David Bradley from British Council, Jim Mulholland from the Council, and later on Robert Sykes and David King. Also, of course, we had people from the USIS. We had Scott Rutherford, one of our directors. So we would like, on another occasion, to recognize some of our directors more in greater detail, and also to remember them, and maybe look at one or two of the later plays, and also mention some of the people that we haven't been able to get to on this occasion. Okay, so thank you everybody for participating. If there are any questions or comments, please unmute yourself, and glad to acknowledge you. So put up your, how should we do this? Let's see, it depends on whether people have put questions on chat already or not.
Maybe you should say that at the beginning, that
if you have questions, put them. Yeah, I will, yes. So as the introductory remarks, I will tell people if they have comments or questions, then they can put it in the chat. Azgar will be monitoring that.
And also have an ending slide.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I will end.
Intermission.
I will end with, we shall take our plan from a new world of man.
Yeah, have a slide.
Sorry, I couldn't understand. What were you saying?
I said, I think we should have an ending slide.
Oh,
like the opening slide and the ending slide.
Yes.
Yeah, to wrap up and to talk about the next.
Okay, so what do you suggest? I mean, I considered putting in another quote. I won't put in our rebels now or ended, because that I'd like to save next.
you use the same frame that you used and just put thank you in it.
That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending.
Yes, and then you say that, so that can be there on the screen, and then you can ask if there are questions, and then you can remove the thank you when people start talking.
I'll remove the slide, you mean? Yeah.
No, yes. After you've finished, after you've said put on lines, you put that same frame that you had at the beginning with the words thank you, and then you can say, now, the questions that you asked on chat, we will begin with the questions and comments that you put on chat.
And if they don't, and if they haven't put any, but I'm assuming there will be a few comments.
Yes, if they haven't,
and if they're not, then we'll.
Yes.
I'm just sort of thinking, should I mute everybody? I think I will this time.
Yeah.
And
they can unmute themselves, right? When it's time for them to speak.
I think you should put everybody on mute.
Well, I can't put everybody on mute. I have to put Margie.
No, except the speakers.
How do we do that?
Obviously.
Okay, let me just see how this works. All right. So let me just put down participants and mute all.
Yeah.
So now I've muted everybody. Mute all current and new participants. Yes. So I've muted everybody, including the co-host. It's interesting. And then I can unmute. Yeah. So let's see. Ask to unmute. So then I'll have to ask you to unmute.
This is fine. You mute everyone and then you ask people who want to speak to.
So did you get a message saying he's asked you to unmute?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I got that message.
But can you, all right, can you unmute yourself without my sending you that message? Okay, I mute you again. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, you can, brother. I unmuted myself.
Okay, okay. So I can mute everybody, but
okay,
they can unmute themselves.
I unmuted myself also.
I think that's part of the settings, though. I can set it so that people can't do that, but we won't,
Don't do that.
Yes. But as co-host,
mute people because a lot of people, they don't unmute, they don't mute themselves. It becomes very annoying.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, it was really bad. I listened to the event we had last time. Actually, it was just too much of that coughing, people talking to their servants.
Yeah.
And,
phone ringing,
wandering in and out. So yeah, no, I can mute everybody, but I have allowed. Obviously, the way I've said it, I allow people to unmute themselves. But Asghar, you can also then monitor that. So you know how to do that. If you click on participants, it will give you the list of the participants, right?
Right.
And you can, let's say, now, can you mute Abu Zafar?
Well,
Yeah. No. Niaz, did you unmute? Did you mute Abu Zafar and Niaz?
no, well, it looks like it did it themselves. It did it themselves.
Can't do that.
I
Now
muted
only
myself.
Abu Zafar is muted.
Yeah.
I muted myself.
Oh, you muted
but
yourself.
She did it herself.
Okay,
So.
she did it
Then
herself.
I
And then she
unmuted.
unmuted. So now
Yes.
Abu Zafar is muted. And Abu Zafar, you can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just something to watch. If somebody inadvertently unmutes, then you know how to mute them as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all for today. Then
No,
rest of
that's
it.
not all. Just a minute. Quick. I have sent the link to all my nieces, nephews, and grandnieces and nephews.
Oh,
Did you send it to the family group, brother, on WhatsApp? Because actually, Amir would be interested in some of the, going
Ghazala.
on. Ghazala, yeah.
No, I haven't put it on.
Yeah, he would like to, I think.
Okay, then I will put it on. Yeah, no, I haven't. Actually, the only place I put the link on was to the nephews and nieces. And
Yeah. Put it on the WhatsApp group too,
Okay.
on a
And
family
I'll
WhatsApp
be
group.
sending you some email addresses.
yes,
Email
that was the
addresses.
other, that's the thing I wanted to ask you. So you can send me the email addresses and I
Yeah.
will add them. I sent a reminder to my email group and a reminder to the messenger group
Okay. Did you send
about
it to the
the
email
event. And I
group?
said, I will, sorry?
Did you send it to the email group? I haven't got anything for the 22nd, have I?
No, I didn't. I just said that you will get a link closer to the time.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
think that's probably what I said.
Yeah.
And I said the
What
same
about-
thing.
Don't send it too early. If you send
Pardon?
it too early, it gets
Yeah,
lost.
no, there's no point saying, but I did send them a reminder. So I've
Yes.
sent a reminder to the email group. I've sent a reminder to the messenger group. There are a few others here and there that I'm going to have to sort of individually send things to. Yeah, so actually I didn't get too many people. So I have Ian Ross, Roxanne Gupta, and well, Sarah Ali. These are three people that said they'd be interested. And then
How
who
about on
did you
your-
have? You have Nasreen, so you have to send me Nasreen's.
Sent you Nasreen. I sent you Rumi Ali and Tamara Ali.
Okay, now Rumi
Oh,
Ali.
okay.
I wonder if I should put in a slide of Rumi Ali doing play reading then. Should I?
The radio play.
The radio.
The radio play. Then you can do that just before the amateurs.
Right, because you mentioned the radio plays.
Yes. And I'll invite someone else also. I'll invite Shirin Haq, who was in that radio play, in that picture.
Okay, I will try and do that. The only thing is I only have the one picture, so I'm not
Yes,
quite
That's the
sure.
only picture we have. That's the only
Yeah.
picture we have. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Okay, then. I
radio
think-
play picture, and then so I'm going to remove the Sister Joseph Mary picture,
Okay, yes.
and I will remove. I think we will definitely go over an hour, so at
Oh,
least
yeah.
easily,
Easily.
right? So remove Sister Joseph Mary, and remove Professor Mateen, and then put in a closing slide, right?
Hmm.
Okay, that's few jobs.
Are you going to
send me the-
notify your Facebook group, Radha, or your?
I don't know. I'm not.
No, don't put the link. Just tell them that there will be a reading.
No,
of
I
Prometheans.
might. I posted it. There wasn't that much interest, so
Okay.
I'm not going to bother too much. As I said,
Hmm.
I think Roxanne, Ian Ross, two people showed some interest, and nobody. And then of course, Baji, you got a few people, right? There was some Qazi Ahmad or somebody as well.
That is Ashik's brother.
Oh.
Ashik's brother. Ashik's brother.
Oh, but anyway, you can send them to.
And I'll also send you Kesar's email, since you read from his thing. Whether he joins or not, it's up to him. But I'll send you his address as well.
All right. So whatever you send, I'll include.
Yes.
I'll send the link. Okay. Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Stop recording.
Excellent.
You
All
haven't
right.
yet
Stop recording.
Oh, do you want to see the recording, guys? Where is
It
it?
would be nice.
Oh, I know it's.
Do
Okay.
remember to correct the